Yeah. All right. Good morning, y'all. It's Friday already. So I did Thankful Thursday yesterday. What am I thankful for? Well, thankful that the next day would be Friday, I guess, right? And thank God it's Friday. I got to work on my bannering, man. But ain't nobody here yet. Well, actually, no, there's a couple of you here. Sorry, I didn't mean to call y'all nobody. But, so I get to be like, silly for a few minutes while people gather on up in here, like hopping over their cats and their dogs and their kids and stuff like that, rushing to get to their computer screen. Actually, you can watch it in your phone. You don't have to do that. Just walk around in a circle.
That's true.
Listen to me be silly. All right. I hope you guys' week has been awesome. And you know how we do it. Trying to do it on Monday, right? Start your Monday off with a little Bible trip. And then, close the week off with some Bible trip, before you guys go into your weekend. Go back into being a bunch of heathens. Now, what about you? So what? Say it about me.
Projection? No.
All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Because once again, we got, we're going to try to cover a chapter. And, man, we got a lot of stuff going on up in here. And might as well go ahead and get on it. Or else I'll be here all day. All right. Before we get started, let's welcome the Holy Spirit in here to make sure that we are receiving only his truth, that no other influence gets in the way of what it is that he wants us to know, that we have a good study, we have a good fellowship, and we take what it is that he gives us and we're able to walk it like we talk it as we step out into the world and, let's inspire folks. The Lord said that, hey, people going to hate us. But some people, not everybody, let's see what we can do to make sure that everybody is like saying, you know what, whatever it is that you got, I want it. All right. And so, Lord, we trust in you to help us with that and, prosper us, advance us when the world is trying to, hold us down. You said that you would send the comforter. You're going to send the helper. We trust in that. And, we're going to get out there and make the best and most of what it is that you bless us with. For your glory, Lord. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Let's do this. Starting with Joseph. All right. And this, I'm going to be like one of them trucks, man. I'm going to be like one of them trucks. What does it say? This truck makes frequent stops. I'm like that. I'll be reading. Got to make a stop.
That's a good way to put it.
Right? Okay. So here we go. 37. Genesis. Now Jacob dwelled in the land where his father sojourned, in the land of Canaan. Right? One of these, I gotta learn how to say that smooth. Because I bet, I make it sound like I'm having like I'm choking on something like that. I'm chewing a lozenge right now, and it's like I've been like Canaan, and you might want to, come trying to hit me in the back or something. Like, spit that thing out. It's like, no, I'm just saying Canaan. Canaan. All right. Let me see. These are the genealogies of Jacob. When Joseph was 17 years old, he was a youth. Why they don't point that out? It's like, well, I mean, I guess, Israel culture is still pretty young at this point. Yeah. So it's like, okay, he's still pretty young, but it's like, did they have bat mitzvah yet? Or bar mitzvah? Because they supposed to, at 13, they're supposed to be a man. A man at 13, he's 17, he's still a youth as far as they're concerned. Okay. So as he was shepherding the flocks with his brothers, with the sons of his father's wives, out there, they're bonding. They're out there. All the half brothers are out there bonding. Isn't that precious? And the sons of the father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah, Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Okay, now bad report. Now in this, depending on the context, when you say a bad report, this can mean two things. I'm either going to bring you a report of something that was bad happening, or I'm going to give you a bad report, meaning that my report is misleading. My report is deceptive, right? It's slanderous. Okay, now in this context, because you'll see that word, it's like, I think the word in Hebrew is debat. Okay? And depending on the context of how it's being used, it can mean either you're telling of something bad that's happening, or you're telling something badly. Or you're lying. Okay? In this instance, Joseph is reporting what he saw. He saw bad behavior, and that's what he's reporting. All right? So let's see. Joseph brought back a bad report about them to his father. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his other sons because he was the son of his old age. So he made him a long sleeve tunic. Special. All right. Long sleeve tunic. Let's see. Man, I hate it like when when a lozenge like starts to get small and you want to bite it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm on camera, man. I shouldn't even be eating a lozenge.
Yes.
But I get sidetracked. I forget about these things. Like the camera's rolling, it's like, dude, I'm eating a losage right now. And I want to start chewing it because it's at that stage. And I can't do that because that would just be so, that would be so unprofessional.
Please don't. Stop it.
Oh, did I do it? I could how about that? I got it. That's right. I'm gangster, man. I don't follow no rules. The camera don't rule me. I'm gonna bite this lozenge. Okay. All right, so now Israel loved Joseph. It's like, man, and see now you can start to see these pictures of Christ starting to form. Okay, these pictures of Christ starting to form. Now Israel loved Joseph, and where we are, more than all his other sons because he was the son of his old age. So he made him a long sleeve tunic. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak to him in shalom. All right. So now Jesus, when he's coming up there, he's coming in Israel and he's talking about coming up to the Israelites and he's talking about, me and my father are one. And, I do the will of my daddy and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, who are you? What are we, chopped liver? It's like, well, you think you're more special to God than us? And not only that you think that, you're such a special son that you're equal with God? It's like, man, and the sibling rivalry really starts to happen, right? So they're starting to get really upset. And you can start to see that starting to play up like right here. Let me see. Where am I at? 5. Then Joseph dreamed a dream and told his brothers. What you gonna do that for, Joseph? And told his brother, and they hated him even more. He said to them, please listen to this dream I have dreamed. So in this, you can see like the way he's putting it. It's not like Joseph is like this, snot-nosed kid that, oh, I had a dream. Okay. Joseph is obvious. He's very frank. He's just honest. He's not trying to be a brat or anything like that. He's just coming to say, hey guys, I had this dream and please listen. So he's not challenging them or anything like that. He's not trying to be boastful. And it's the same thing with Jesus. When Jesus, came in and let them know, like one of the things that really upset them is like, look, man, you're going to see me coming on the clouds of glory. You're going to see me at the right hand of the Father, okay? It's like, because Jesus is trying to be diplomatic in the ways that they're answering these questions. Like, look, man, finally, it's like, look, you're going to see me at the right hand of God, all right? But even when saying that, Jesus wasn't being contentious with them. It's like, look, I'm just telling you the truth, and you're not going to like it. All right. Joseph is the same thing. He's coming. He's just telling them about this dream that he had. Please listen to this dream I dreamed. There we were binding sheaves in the middle of the field. All of a sudden, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf. Okay. So in this, he's letting them know what's getting ready to go down. And they'll notice that he's talking about sheaves. I believe he's talking about wheat here. Now, if you're wheat, then you accept the truth and the wheat will bow down. The tares does not. That gets burned up. So it's interesting that he's talking about wheat here. I noticed I could feel my wife's look. I could feel her look when I read the part that I was in my dream and my sheaf arose. And my wife's like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm like,
with that naughty sense of humor.
Right. And I did. The Lord gave me the strength to not go there. It's like you subtly went there.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't go there. It was I could feel her look. I could feel it. All right. They bow down to my
Oh.
No, it's because I can feel you looking at me. Don't I can feel it. And almost tickles. That's why I giggle.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. Will you be truly king over us? Okay, now this is a rhetorical question, and they're mocking him. It's like, wait, hold up. Are you implying that you're going to be king over us? Is that what you're saying? And they mock this. Okay, now this is the same thing with Jesus. Okay, Jesus got in trouble for the implication of it. What, you going to be king? Okay, that's what they was going to the governor with. It's like, this dude's talking about being king. Okay, and so Jesus was hung in mockery with a placard over his head, King of the Jews. And so right here, they're mocking him. And they're angry about this. They said, what, you talking about being king over us? Do you start to see these pictures of Christ? Let's see. His brothers told him, will you really rule over us? So they hated him even more because of his dreams and because of his words. But then he dreamed another dream and told it to his brother, saying, I have just dreamed another dream. Suddenly, there was the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowing down to me. He told it to his father as well as his brothers. Oh, man. Then his father rebuked him and said to him, what's this dream you dreamed? Will we really come, your mother and I, with your brothers, to bow down to the ground to you? So his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept his speech in mind. All right, so let's back this up. But he dreamed another. We're going to back up to 9. Let's see. You know what? I should have my notes out in front of me because, you ever get, it's like you leave the house, you always feel like you're forgetting something, right?
With you,
right?
It's usually true.
And with me, it's usually true. So I hope that's why I have my lovely assistant to go through. Hey, back up. You missed something, right?
Unfortunately, your lovely assistant was talking with people.
No talking in class. I need you to keep me on track with the notes. Make sure I didn't forget something. I can't read like 3 different things at the same time. You'll see my eyes like going like this, and I'll probably end up going into a seizure or something. Hey?
But somebody said flying wife shoe.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Lord protect me from the flying wife shoe. All right. Hope I didn't miss anything. All right.
Where were you at?
That's what I'm supposed to be asking you. Where was I at? Okay. So now, so we're going to back up to 9. No, let's back. Yeah, there we go. But he dreamed another dream, and he told it to his brother, saying, I have just dreamed another dream. Suddenly there was the sun and the moon and the 11 stars. So now the sun represents his father. The moon represents his mother. And of course, the stars. Now these stars, there's 11 stars. And Joseph is the one in the middle. So the 11 is going to represent his brother. Now this is going to get into the questions. I hope I don't forget this. You know me. We start talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? But arguably it's 13. So we have to round up. It's like, well, what tribes are we talking about? Because you got the Levites, but they didn't inherit any land and stuff like that. But they are one of the 12 or 13 tribes. And Joseph doesn't become one of the tribes, but it's left to his sons Ephraim and Manasseh. So it's like, okay, well, which one is going to be the one? Because there's supposed to be 12, but it seems like there's 13. So hopefully we'll get into addressing that in a little bit. But right now we're talking about these 11 stars. Okay, so those represent his 11 brothers. But then he talks about the sun, that's going to represent Jacob, and he's talking about the moon, which represents his mother. So his father, now traditionally, for those who are familiar with this, a lot of people are led to believe that his father was indignant because his father's like, what? I'm going to bow down to you? It's like, I'm your daddy, all right? And you're suggesting that I'm going to bow down to my son? And it seems like that's what the rebuke is over. It's like, no, I don't think so, because obviously Jacob already bows down to Joseph. All right, Joseph is his pride and joy. It's like the boy's on a pedestal as far as Jacob's concerned. So it's like that's not really the issue. All right, so when his father rebukes him, I don't think it's out of any sort of envy or jealousy or pride or anything like that of the idea that Jacob is going to bow down to his son. I don't think he's offended by that. The rebuke is here. Then his father rebuked him and said to him, what's this dream that you dreamed? Will we really come, your mother and I? How can that be? Rachel's dead. So how can Joseph have a dream where his mother is going to bow down when she's dead. So that's why Jacob is like, hey, back up. What are you saying? Now, why do I further substantiate that the fact of, so his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the speech in mind. He took what he took. He didn't just take it with a grain of salt. He's like, you know what? Joseph may be onto something here. This ain't a stretch for Jacob because Jacob talked with God. Jacob wrestled with God. Jacob knows what God is capable of. So it ain't a stretch that you think that God would reunite me with Rachel, with Joseph's mother. And could it be that we will end up bowing down to Joseph? Now, how is this more of a picture of Christ? Because in the physical world, in our world, Rachel is, as far as I know, as Genesis concludes, Rachel isn't here. She doesn't return to bow down to Joseph. But in the grand scheme of things, as everlasting life is granted, she will see the son. And remember, the son. It's not Joseph that she will be bowing down to. It will be the Lord himself, the Son of God, that she will be bowing down to. Because Joseph is a picture of Christ. Okay, that's what Joseph is talking about here. Not necessarily talking about the Son himself. He's talking about the Son of God. That's who she's going to be bowing down to. All right, how do I further back this up? What's the name given to Joseph by the Egyptians? His name is Zappaneth-Paneah. What does his name mean? Savior of the world. What does that also mean? It means the bread. And who is Jesus? He is the bread of life. Joseph is a picture of Christ, y'all. Okay? So let's see. 12. Then his brothers went to graze their father's flocks in Shechem. Doing some Shechem grazing. All right. Israel said to Joseph, aren't your brothers grazing the flocks in Shechem? Come, let me send you to them. Here I am, he said. Then he said to him, go now and check on the welfare of your brothers and the well-being of the flocks and bring word back to me. So in this, it's not like, Jacob takes, his other sons for granted. He obviously cares about them. Okay? And when you read in other translations, it says like, check on their safety and things like that. Make sure they're faring well, that they're doing okay. Right? He does care about them. He doesn't just take them for granted. He could be worried about other things too, because I think this is where Levi and Simeon went buck wild on that village for defiling their sister. Yeah. Right? So Jacob could probably always be worried about some get back. Them coming in and raiding their sons. So it could be that he could be he stays very nervous. And also it also seems like. It's like, dang, Jacob, why are you raising Joseph to be a little snitch, man? He always got him snitching on his brothers. And right here in the Bible is the original snitches wind up in ditches, okay? It's like Joseph is like the original snitch who ended up in a ditch, okay? So let me see. A man found him there wandering in the field, and the man asked him, what are you looking for? Who is this man? As this man asked him, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for my brothers. He said, please tell me where they're grazing. The man said, they moved on from here. For I heard them saying, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. And you know what? Just something like the cadence in that and the wording in that is like messing with me. And I did not, and hopefully you guys will do it. Let's find out what Dothan means. I was trying to look up the location of Dothan, but I didn't look up what it means. I don't know. It might mean something significant in here because the language in here is tripping on me. He comes out, he just runs into this dude, right? We don't know who this guy is. And he runs into him and he's like, and the guy knows, hey, you're looking for something, huh? He says, I'm looking for my brothers. He says, please tell me where they're grazing. And the man said they moved on from here. And just for some reason, it just sounds like when they came to the tomb and the angel is sitting there, where did he come from? And he's just kicking it. He's like, oh, you guys looking for something?
So like a salesman pops out.
Right? So you guys looking for something? Yeah, well, I know who you're looking for. He's moved on from here. He's gone. He's risen. All right? It's just something about that, in this whole, there's these familiar themes, or, that stuff just sticks out to me. All right? I'm silly like that.
The page that gives the definition for dolphin is down.
Oh. You know what? Devil, we gonna find out what it means. Okay, now they saw him from a distance. Okay, check this out. Now they saw him from a distance. Before he was close to them, they plotted together against him in order to kill him. Another picture of Christ here. They see Joseph. They see him in his pretty tunic. All right? They see him coming, and they want to kill him. They saw Jesus coming. They saw Jesus coming from thousands of years away. They're looking at the scriptures. They should know who's coming. Jesus got frustrated with them. It's like, dude, you don't know me, but at the same time, you know me well enough to be angry about me to kill me. Okay, you kill prophets who speak about me. You kill the prophets who speak the truth. You see us coming with the truth, and you want to kill us. And you saw me coming too. You see me coming from thousands of years ago. Well, here I am, baby, and you want to kill me. And they saw Joseph coming, and they wanted to kill him. Okay, Herod knew that Jesus was coming and wanted to kill him. Wanted to kill him before a kid could even walk. Wanted to kill him. All right, so there's another picture of Christ. They saw him coming. They wanted to kill him. They said to one another, here comes the master of dreams. Come on now, let's kill him and throw him into one of those pits. Snitch gonna wind up in a ditch. All right. So we can say that an evil animal devoured him. Evil animal. All right. It was an evil unicorn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's kill him. And so we can say the evil animal devoured him. Then let's see what becomes of his dreams. Okay, you're going to set them dreams into motion, man. That's exactly what you're doing. Okay, but Reuben heard and rescued him out of their hands, saying, so, oh, Reuben all of a sudden gets a sense of decency. It's like this the dude that's sleeping with one of his daddy's concubines, and all of a sudden he gets like a moral core. That's very nice of you, Reuben. But thank you, Reuben. Way to step up, bro. All right, let's see. In order to rescue him from their hands and to return him to his daddy, Reuben said to them, so obviously he wants to return. He wants to return Joseph to his father. Okay, so let's see how this is prefaced right here, because one of the places that we end up going with this, like, wait a minute, Reuben has the boy thrown into a ditch. Was he trying to hurt us? No, he wanted to save his brother. Okay, let's see. In order to rescue him from their hand and return him to his father, Reuben said to them, don't shed blood. Throw him into this pit here in the wilderness. Excuse me. But don't lay a hand on him. Oh, don't lay a hand on the boy. Don't kill him. Sound like that angel that came out and said, hey, don't lay a hand on the boy. All right. So these pictures are starting to, they start to, come into focus more. But don't lay a hand on him. So as soon as Joseph came up to his brothers, they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the long sleeve tunic that he had on. It sounds like, what does this sound like? The picture of Christ being stripped of his tunic, one that they cast lots over, right? And as they're casting lots over this tunic, Joseph is going to be sold and saved. Lots going to be cast for him. Like, oh, what you want? What you want for him? What you want for him? And they sold him into slavery. All right. So, now this raises a question. Was Jesus, since Joseph here is a picture of Christ, they stripped him of his tunic and threw him in this ditch, butt naked in that hole. All right. So was he naked on the cross when he was hung on the cross? Now you have some, and we always see these, now, people talk about like graven images and stuff like that. Portraying the image of Jesus on the cross, I don't agree with that. Okay, I don't. That gets into that's stepping into idolatry, y'all. I know some people like to paint this image of. If you really want to honor Jesus, you honor Jesus by not depicting him on a cross, because he ain't there no more. His whole point was to get on the cross to get us off the hook. And he ain't on that cross no more. So these depictions of Jesus like hanging on this cross, this broken Jesus, it's not a reminder. Okay? It's not a good reminder. It's idolatry. But that's beside my point. You notice that when Jesus is up on it, he's not like on a loincloth and stuff. And I appreciate people wanting to, maintain the modesty of Jesus by putting him on, in a loincloth, and he's up it. But like I said, it's not a good idea to do. It's not good. It's idolatry, and you're trying to make a depiction of God in flesh, and that becomes an object of worship. Please be careful. And people try to justify, we're not worshiping it and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you kind of are. Okay. We're just honoring and we're keeping Jesus and what the work that he did. Is like, you want to keep Jesus in mind about the work that he did, read it. You don't have to make an image of Jesus hanging up on a cross. He ain't up there no more. All right. That's the whole point. If you really want to honor Jesus, remember that he ain't up there no more. Okay. So, but he's in this cloth that people like to depict. And it's like, y'all, I would suggest to you that, and like I said, I take into consideration people are just trying to be modest about the image of Jesus. But no, he was most likely up on there naked. Okay. Fully, and it's like, and people are like, no, not my, people, I like the way people like try to, make Jesus holy in there, Jesus didn't drink wine, and Jesus didn't, and make wine, and Jesus didn't hang up on the cross naked. Not my Jesus, not my precious, perfect Jesus. It's like, no, Jesus was hung up on the cross naked. Okay. And y'all, that ain't a stretch in Roman culture. Yeah. All right. You go look at their statues, they always got, things swinging. Okay. They be naked. Is that's modesty wasn't like a big thing in Roman culture. Okay. So most likely they hung Jesus up on that cross naked.
That was part of why it was so shameful.
Exactly. Okay. Now dig it. How will I further back this up? Because Jesus is the second Adam. And what do we know about Adam? Naked. Yeah. Okay. It makes it a point to say that Adam was naked, both him and Eve, naked and unashamed. They had nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. But now Jesus, the second Adam, naked, hung up on a tree. Okay. And Adam and Eve were naked, and they were by that tree, and they died from that tree. Okay. They died. Their pride got in the way. They decided to listen to a truth. They decided to listen to fake news. Yeah. They listened to fake news while hearing the truth from the truth, and it cost us. Okay? So now Jesus, the second Adam, naked.
We've got Brian Lee Mayers. He says it's only idolatry if you worship the image as Christ himself. He's like, you have a cross on your hat, but I'm sure you don't worship it.
Thank you. Hat. Right? That's right. I don't worship my hat, and I don't worship the image on it. What I worship is the one who did the work on it. That's what I worship. Yeah. Hey, not the cross. I be seeing people like talk about, stand for the flag and kneel at the cross. I like the way they throw the cross bone in that, because it's like, let me say this really quick, because I appreciate love of country. And this is a lot with our conservatives and stuff like that, and all that. Y'all, kingdom first. All right, kingdom first. And I put kingdom before country, kingdom before my conservatism, kingdom before color, kingdom before chromosomes, kingdom before anything else. All right. When you don't do that, you'll twist things up. It gets messed up. All right. That's why we got these transgenders and stuff like that, because they put chromosomes before kingdom. Yeah. All right. You put anything before the kingdom, it's going to screw things up. Yeah. All right. So, but I be seeing people like talk about, stand for the flag, kneel for the cross. It's like, thank you for throwing the Lord a bone, as you obviously love your country more than you do the kingdom. Let's just call it what it is. Okay. And then it's like, kneel at the cross. What for? What do you mean kneel at the cross? You bear your cross. Yeah. And if you're going to bear your cross, when Jesus talked about bear your cross, that means you need to stand up. You stand up and bear your cross, and you walk. Kneeling for the cross? No. Okay? So that becomes like an object where you kneel for the work of the Lord. You kneel for the Lord who did the work on the cross. But in terms of like kneeling for y'all, that's stepping into idolatry, right? Yeah.
Ray Cook and Brad Hilton can dig it.
All right. Thank you. So we try to do diggle things up in here. All right. Got lost. Where was I at? Help me find my way, Jesus.
Just took my finger off where we were.
All right. Let's see. Let's start 23. Okay, no, 24, because we just talked about the long sleeve tunic that he had on. Then they took him and threw him into the pit. Now the pit was empty with no water in it. Okay, they figured, yeah, he gonna. That's a horrible way to go, y'all. Horrible way to go. Why is that messing with me though? Just messing with me. Now the pit was empty with no water in it. They threw him into a pit. I'm gonna make a note of it. I want to come back and revisit. I don't want to take too time to get my cogwheels going and say, Lord, what can you give me for that one? You know, and there's something to that, man. There's something there. You know, when it gives you like little details like that, it's like, what's the details in that? You know, I started thinking about, okay, the pit was empty. The emptiness of this pit, it's like it's death, right? Yeah. And no water in it. It's like, wow. Because one of the things that Jesus is going to talk about is he's going to give the account of Jonah in the whale. There's a lot of water there. So it's like, but there's no water in here. So let's see. Jesus talks about, himself being living water and all that. Okay, we're going to play with that. We're going to come back to that. And maybe I'll have something for you. And of course, you guys can speculate on too. Pray for the Lord to give you guys, because there's something happening in there. And like I said, y'all, I don't claim to know all the stuff. I'm inviting y'all into my study. I'm studying with y'all. It's my study. I'm discovering things too. You seeing how the sausage is made. All right. When they sat down to eat bread, bread and sausage, biscuits and sausage. Is that what? Man, we haven't had breakfast yet.
I was gonna say it always comes back to food.
Because it's going back to food. Okay, solid. Okay, all right. They sat down to eat bread. We got the Lord, right, who is the bread of life. Okay. When they looked up, behold, there was a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels carrying gum. Carrying gum. This sounds like an early version of the ice cream truck. Right? You want some chicle? Get some gum, and get you like a push-up pop or something like that. It's hot out there. You're in the desert, and they probably want some. He said, "Oh, here come the ice cream carrier, man. They got gum. Want some gum, man? What kind of dry, man? Want some gum?" All right. Let's see. They got gum. Let me see. Where was I at? I was at gum, but I can't find it. You would think it's gum. I'd be stuck to that verse and I could stick on it, but no, I can't find it now. 25. No, where's 25? Okay. Let's see. Why are you hiding from me? 25. Okay, then they sat down to eat bread. When they looked up, behold, there was a caravan. Oh, I should have said like the middle of 25. Okay, carrying gum, balsam. What flavor ice cream is that? Oh, gosh. Balsam and myrrh. Okay, can I get that myrrh flavor? All right. Going to bring them down to Egypt. Egypt. Let's see. Then, interesting enough, it's like they're heading to Egypt. And what does Egypt mean? Oppression. The house of bondage. It's like, interesting enough, that's where Joseph is going to be taken, to the house of bondage, because that's what Egypt means. Then Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is there if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come out. Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. Let's not lay our hand on him, since he is our brother, our own flesh." Okay, they're starting to get a conscious now. How nice of them.
I think they're justifying making a buck.
That too. Yeah, it's like yeah, and that's one of the good ways to sell to act like you care. Remember, if you want to get people to buy stuff from you, or you want to sell an idea on somebody, you got to make it look like you care. All right. So he's selling an idea on them, and by the way, hey, he is our brother. Come on. All right. All right, our own flesh. His brothers listened to him. When some men, Midianite merchants, passed, and of course, I genuinely care.
I was gonna say.
I need one of those twinkle things. Ding! All right, you're digging your own grave there, so shut up. All right, Midianite merchants passed by. They dragged Joseph up out of the pit, and they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. Like, what? Joseph be like, well, only 20? Other slaves get like 30, man. 20? Jeez, man. Okay. Let's see. picture of Christ here because, Jesus, what was it, 30?
Yeah.
Right? So it's just to kind of let you know that it's like Jesus is a picture of Christ, but he ain't quite Jesus. He ain't worth the full 30, but 20. But, it's like Joseph, okay, Jesus, I can see in the future, so I don't stack up to you, okay? Okay, I'm a 20-cent kid compared to you, your mighty 30 cents. All right, I get it. Let's see, 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not in the pit, tore his clothes. Then he returned to his brothers and said, the boy is gone. And where should I go? Okay, so interesting things happening in here. It's like Joseph thrown into the pit, and then he ain't there no more. It's like Jesus dies on the cross, and what happened? The veil gets torn. And I'm sick because Jesus, he steps out into death and into life. Okay, veil is torn. There's no separation anymore. So in this right here, he comes. Joseph is gone. He's risen. Tears his robe. So that just reminds me of there's some familiar themes that are going on in there. So also then he returns to his brothers and said, the boy is gone. All right. Hey, he's risen. And where should I go? Because Reuben is like, oh, snap. He got out. He gonna tell. Right? Reuben is scared right now. Right? Oh, snap, the boy's good. Because Joseph a little stitch. He gonna run tell daddy. So Reuben is shaking in his boots. And they took Joseph's tunic, slaughtered a billy goat, and they dipped the tunic into the blood. Then they sent the long-sleeved tunic, and it was brought to their father. And they said, we found this. Do you recognize whether or not it is your son's tunic? Now, God be like, yeah, I recognize my son. This is my son with whom I'm well pleased. Yeah, I totally recognize what's been done to him. I know who he is. I know what belongs to him. I know who belongs to him. All right. So in this right here, they take this tunic and they say, he did recognize it and said, my son's tunic, an evil animal, has devoured him. Joseph must be torn to pieces. Jacob tore his clothing and put on sackcloth and mourned for his son many days. Okay, now let's back up a little bit. So they take the tunic of Joseph, and the scriptures make sure to let you know that it is a long sleeve tunic. Notice that it doesn't say they took the sleeve of the tunic, but they took the long sleeve tunic, which means that the tunic was intact. These guys, they're not, which is good. It's like you're not very good at it. A murderer is always going to miss something. All right, murderers, most of the time, it's like a murder. It sucks when they get away, but oftentimes murder doesn't get away because they miss certain details. You watch enough Columbo, you figure that stuff out, right? And Columbo would have zeroed on this really quick. It's like, why? See, I need a cigar right now. Why? Can I do that cross-eyed thing? I don't know if I do that cross-eyed. Why? If it was torn to pieces, why is the tunic still intact? Something is strange here. Oh, and one more thing, sir. One more thing. Okay, so the tunic is still intact, but it's like they're throwing things out there. Joseph must have been torn to pieces, and you would think that something would click. But they're freaking out. Jacob is distraught, and they're just probably not picking up on this, But the tunic is still intact. But what's more important is that Jesus, his tunic was still intact too. Right? They stripped him of his tunic and they cast lots for it. So, and also, what was the tunic dipped in? It was dipped into the blood of a goat. All right. So the goat. I hope that y'all are not opting to be goats. Be the sheep. The goats are going to get slaughtered. Okay? The blood of the goats, Christ is going to be dipping his blood in. Okay? When he returns, what's his tunic going to be dipped in? Blood. All right? The blood, and it's as you read through the scriptures, there's going to be an association with him returning from Basra. Okay? So basically, it's like this is going to be the representation of the heathens who denied Christ. All right? The goats who were stubborn and did not want to accept who he is. his robe will be dipped with your blood. Don't be that guy or don't be that girl. And people be like, well, why would we want to serve, a God like that, a vengeful God like that? Because those who are against Christ do evil to other people. I don't care how good you think you are. You're part of it. You're just part of it. And anybody say, well, Christians do bad things. Yeah, we did. We do. People may claim to be Christians and do things. You didn't do it in Jesus' name. You did that on your own because the scriptures never told you to do that. Matter of fact, it's one of the commandments where God says, don't take my name in vain. Don't be out there doing other evil things to people and be calling yourself one of mine. Don't do that because I let you know you ain't. You ain't one of mine. I never instructed you to do something like that. Now, for those who do great evil, yeah, the Lord, Jesus all the same, the Lord did send the Israelites to go ride on people and go scorched earth on people who were already doing wicked and oppressive things to other people. God had them judged. But in terms of just going out there and cutting down people just because they don't believe, God doesn't instruct us to do that. God's like, I will handle them myself. All right? Because why? I can't have them coming up in heaven because all this stuff is going to start over again. It won't be heaven now, will it? Okay? In heaven, we got to be in agreement. So, but in this right here, this is a picture of the tunic that's going to be dipped in the blood of non-believers. As Jesus, when he comes back, it's going to be confirmation. All right? It's confirmation when he comes back. And that blood right there, it's like, yo, this is the real deal. I've come back and you see the blood on my cloth. I'm that dude. I'm that dude spoken of thousands of years ago. I'm him. All right?
Those who hate me love death.
Mm-hmm. All right? Get ready to love it even more. All right? And mourned for his son for many days. All his sons got up along with all his daughters to console him, but he refused to be comforted. He said, for I will go down to Sheol to my son, mourning. So his father kept weeping for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold him into Egypt to Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh, the commander of the bodyguards. Now, interesting enough, so Jacob says that I will go down to Sheol to see my son. All right? He says, I will die and see my son. Interesting, because that's what we want, ain't it? As believers, when we die, who do we want to see? We want to see the son. So you see the pictures, and the same thing for, who else we got? What's another cat that wanted to see? David.
Yeah.
Hey, same thing with David. Who did he want to see? When his baby was dying and died, he took the comfort in saying, my son's not going to come to see me, but I will go to see my son. The theme here is going to see the son, to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord, the Son of God. That is who we want to see. That's who that's who Jacob wants to see. He wants to see his son. He wants to see his son, obviously, more than he wants to see Rachel. You would think that, because that was his first love. That's who he's been wanting. He worked 7+ years for her. All right. He wants him some Rachel. And you would think that upon his death, he'd be like, David, I'm going to go see Rachel. Go see my baby. Right. No, he's talking about it's his son that he's wrecked over. He's wrecked over his son. That's who he wants to go see. Now, but here's the thing about us wanting to see. Now, no matter how much I may love anybody, and I love me some Mrs. Rachel. Now, if, God forbid, I was to become a widower, my hope isn't in going to see my wife. All right? I'm going to say, I'm going to be like, not in the same mindset, right, but I'm going to be like Jacob. I want to see the son. Amen. That's who I want to see. That's who I want to see first.
Yes.
I want to see the one who can return me to my wife. That guy, whom I can thank eternally. Thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing us back together. You're the dude, and we love you before anything. Hey, it's like compared to you, we hate everything else.
Amen.
Hey, that's what the word says. You hate everything. It's like it's not telling us to hate. We're just talking about relative. right? Compared to the Lord, everything else should be like, I compared to you, I hate everything else.
Amen.
Because when you get the Lord, he teaches you how to love everything else.
Yes.
All right? That's the thing about it.
Good, honey.
Me just loving my wife, that ain't enough. She's better than that. She's better than me just loving her. Because me loving her my way sucks. My love sucks. All right? I wouldn't dare love her my way. At least not anymore. I tried to. It doesn't work.
I was going to say, we went down that road.
Right?
We loved each other without the Lord.
And it's not even right to try to call it love.
Yeah.
Hey, that's like a misnomer, really. All right? I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, be happy, but not that genuine joy that only the Lord can give. Yeah. So it's like, nah, man. If I really, really want to love my wife, got to love the Lord first. Let him show me how to love her. All right? That's the real deal. So, people are like, oh, why? God's he's megalomaniac. He just wants all this love. It's like, yeah, he wants us to love him so we can love each other right. All right? You try to love people your own way, you're going to screw it up. You're just going to screw it up. Okay? So, upon, we're hoping for, our hope is in this rapture thing. We want to jump to the sky and party with the Lord. That's how we want to do it. But we understand that, death does make its claim. Death can claim, death can't keep. If you're in the Lord, can claim, but can't keep. But the bottom line is, people talk about, when people talk about they have like, don't want to sound condescending, but they talk about near-death experiences and stuff like that. And, when they say that, they went and they saw their family and whatnot, I'm like, if the people that you are looking for first when you go to heaven are people of the world, then I'm not sure your faith priorities are in order. Now, I don't mean to sound callous when I say that. I understand people love their families and they want to see their families again and stuff like that. I understand. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But if your first objective ain't to see the Lord, if the Lord ain't who you were looking for, our priorities are maybe a little off. Okay? Upon going to heaven, the first is like, where that dude Jesus at? Where he at? Where he at? Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, man, I'm ready for this family reunion. You ready to get down? Where the barbecue at? I smell it. Let's get to it, man. Just bust out that barbecue, bust out that wine. Let's have the family. Let's party. Okay? In your honor, Jesus, that's who we would be looking for first. Because it's through him that we get to be reunited with everybody else. All right? So as much as I would want to see my wife, as much as I would want to see her, I'm going to want to see Jesus first.
Amen.
All right? So, that's what we're getting. That's coming from when we're talking about Jacob. He's almost to the point of death. He's so distraught. He wants to die. Who does he want to see? He wants to see the son. All right? Right on, y'all. So what we got going out there?
Brad Hilton just said, I like the comment, what the lineage of Jesus shows is that the struggles, the trials, the most important people in the Bible endured not only glorified God, but refutes the myth that following Jesus is going to be a cakewalk. And I know that I believed that myth because when we first got saved, I was watching a lot of Christian TV and maybe watching the pop culture, involved in pop culture Christianity more than the Bible. And I believed it should be a cakewalk. And I should be just blessed with, prosperity in every way. And so I feel where he's coming from.
And that's interesting, because those who come to Christianity and thinking that it's going to be a cakewalk, one of the reasons that they didn't come to Christianity for so long is because of things that they heard about the Bible and all the war in it and the struggle and the pain and stuff like that. And it's like, well, why would a person think that it's going to be a cakewalk when you come to Jesus, when you didn't want to come to the Word in the first place because what you heard was all the bad stuff that was in it? Yeah. You didn't think that some of that stuff was going to be reflected in your life too? So yeah, it's an interesting point, and like I said, that's why Jesus says, "I will send the Comforter."
Yeah, amen. Right?
Ain't no need for a comforter if things ain't gonna get uncomfortable. So, but yeah, thank you, man. It's a very good point. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out on this Friday. I hope we got something out of it. Hope there's a deeper understanding. And thank you guys for coming in to study with me and sharing in my studies. Y'all have a blessed weekend. The Lord be with y'all. In shalom. Make your weekend be refreshing. May you make the best and most of it, whether you got to work, whether you're going to relax or catch up on stuff. May the Lord be with y'all so y'all can make the best and most of it so we can do it again in the week coming up. All right. In Jesus' name. Rock on. Sledge on. Yeah.